Not having a father present on purpose is child abuse.
The thought of my kid getting taken away from me because of the gender that my spouse happens to be.
Okay, here we are. Nico, men's rights activist, new father, son who's 4 weeks old.
Yes, sir.
And Dorothy, co-mom of an 18-month-old boy, lesbian. Nico, what's wrong with a two-mom family?
It lacks a father. It lacks the energy that a man brings to the equation. The children that do the best in life have been raised by a father and a mother, because one brings something different than the other doesn't. Most of the drug addicts, most of the alcoholics, most of the high school dropouts come from families where they were lacking a masculine man or just a man as a whole. And I'm the perfect example.
Tell us about that for a moment.
My dad left when I was 14. My mom pretty much raised my sister and I by herself. Within a year, I was a drug addict, I was an alcoholic, I wasn't in school anymore.
Dorothy is married to another woman and they have an 18-month-old son.
Mm-hmm.
Are you worried for that son?
I am worried for the son, absolutely, 100%. If there's no man present, because a woman cannot teach a boy how to become a man in the same way that I cannot teach a little girl how to become a woman. Look at society today. Boys are lost because unfortunately, men have been pushed out of the family. There's a belief that men are not needed anymore.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot for her.
I can see from her face, yeah.
It is really impactful to hear this in front of my face. I don't surround myself with men who think the way you do. I knew this was going to be wild, but it's sitting in front of you and hearing that you're worried for my kid pisses me off, quite frankly.
So you have people in your own family or your wife's family who share Nico's views.
Yeah, my wife is vibrant and free and authentic and gorgeous and safe and loved and celebrated with my family and with the members of my wife's family who think like you. Turns inward on herself and is afraid to be herself. I see light leave her. We had a number of members of my wife's family decide not to come to our wedding, and my entire family was there. That was really painful for her. Men like you, men who think like you, can't be actually about the well-being of the kid, because if it was about the well-being of our kids and making the world better for our kids, we wouldn't be on opposing sides of this issue.
Can you share your views on gay parents adopting?
I don't think that gay people should be allowed to adopt. It's really plain and simple. You need a father and you need a mother. And that's not my opinion, statistics.
That is your opinion.
My opinion is based on statistics.
We're looking at different studies then.
Clearly, you're looking at the studies that you want to look at. The numbers don't lie.
You sound entitled and self-important. You sound like you have been taught that your truth is the only truth, that your choices are the only right choices. The most important thing is a secure, loving, healthy household, and the gender of the parents have nothing to do with that.
What about your view on gay fathers?
Just 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, there's a case that came out where a sex predator was allowed to get a little boy with his partner through surrogacy. Certain states don't do a background check on the people because it's not like adopting. It's a different thing than adopting.
Being a sex predator has nothing to do with being a gay man.
No.
Sex predators come in all different gender identities.
I think we can agree that most sex predators are men.
Right. You can say pedophiles shouldn't adopt kids.
Are men more prone to be sexual predators
Yes,
or to be pedophiles.
men are the core
Okay.
of a lot of issues in our world. Yes.
See, that goes back to what I was saying earlier. And
What
that,
did her comment suggest to you?
that men are not important, that men like me are the problem for being not considered progressive, yet this whole society that you enjoy, that you take for granted, was built by guys like me and maintained by guys like me.
Right. The world right now that I'm enjoying
Yes.
is my family getting demonized, me going to bed sleeping that my son is going to get taken away from me, queer and trans kids like me growing up committing suicide at a higher rate that we've ever seen before. Yeah, the world that world is built by men like you.
Nico, tell us about your views on why a woman's role is important and what do women offer in that relationship?
Love, compassion. 60 to 70% of people in medicine right now are women, from nurses to doctors, which makes sense to me because again, women are more compassionate. But if you look at engineering, for example, I'm a sales engineer by trade, 90% or so are men.
So in a family, what roles does each person play from your perspective?
Women should be giving all the love possible to their children all the time. This is what I lacked from my mother growing up, by the way, because my mother is not touchy, emotional. My wife is extremely understanding. I'm not very good at sharing like closeness with my partner, with my wife. And I know where it stems from, but I've been trying to work on it for years because I understand that it's not good. It's not fair for her. And it's not fair for my son. I'm trying to be better. But at the same time, I will bring a structure that my wife will not bring.
And what if that's not present? A woman is not present in the relationship.
If something, God forbid, something happens to my wife, I'll be the first one to admit that I can't do it by myself. I will find a woman, hopefully it would be her mother. She's just a great woman. You look at the studies, men tend to do better at raising children by themselves than women do. Not because they're better parent, because men will go ask for help.
First of all, being abandoned or left by one of your parents is not the same thing as two loving same-sex people raising a kid. And the fact that you're equating them, that's what's dangerous. And the problem is we have different definitions of what it means to be a man and what it means to be a woman and gender roles in the house.
Why do you guys always feel the need to roll your eyes, to make facial expression, to kind of denigrate men because we have a different opinion? I will never lack respect towards you. I will never use words
You
that
just
are...
looked me in my eye and said people like me shouldn't have children. You don't think that's disrespectful?
You guys are so selfish because you always make it about yourself and not the child. At the end of the day, it's what's better for the child, not for you. Your wants will never be as important as the need of that child.
My want is for my kid to be in a loving household.
We're going to go with this a few more minutes, but as you know, this is not why we're here.
What do you mean?
We're not here to have this argument. We're demonstrating the kind of conversation that usually happens.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So go at it. Who's right?
Convince me, Nico.
But there's no way I can convince you. You're not here to be convinced.
Why would I listen to anything you have to say when I know, first of all, that I was raised by two women. I have brothers who were raised by two women, and we are well-adjusted, productive, empathetic members of society. I'm so terrified our kids are going to get taken away from us because people like you in positions of power are making decisions based on
Facts? Yeah, it's hard to make decisions on facts, I agree.
Again, you're equating being abandoned by a parent to lesbians and gays and queer people raising kids.
You're assuming that because he wasn't abandoned, because he was loved, that he will not have a lack of a male figure. And that is your mistake.
So, studies about children's well-being later on in life, the numbers are skewed towards two women raising kids than a mother and a father.
I don't believe it for a second. You'd have to send me your stats. Who's going to protect you if something were to happen? If a home invasion was to happen, you think you can defend yourself against a bunch of people that are entering in your house? There's a good reason why the vast majority of military people are men, the vast majority of police officers are men, because we were meant to be physical. We were meant to protect.
What would society look like if Nico were in charge?
Oh my gosh. Kids will get ripped out of loving homes, put into foster care. Families like mine are going to continue to be demonized, lose their kids.
Okay, okay. So here we are. You guys had what I would call a traditional conversation between two people who believe very different things about the well-being of children. I want to ask you first, Dorothy, how you feeling about this guy?
I'm really angry. I
What do you think of him?
don't think it's about the well-being of kids. I think it's more about you proving that you're right, proving your masculinity, proving your worth, proving your place in society.
Can you work with a guy like this in society?
No. If the core of his belief that I shouldn't have kids, then I have a kid and I plan to have more.
What do you think about Dorothy?
I've spoken to women like her many times. I interact with thousands of people
Okay,
weekly.
but Dorothy's here right now. What do you think of Dorothy?
She's accusing me of being selfish, yet her behavior is selfish because she does not care about facts.
Could you work with her?
I don't have a choice. Society today is modeled after her beliefs. I wouldn't have flown from Montreal, Canada to come down here if I didn't think that you and I have to find common ground somewhere. I don't want you dead. I don't want you to be removed. I don't want to snap my fingers and you all disappear. That's not right.
So this is a good transition.
Sure.
Okay.
I have time to grab water.
No. Yeah, go.
No, that's okay.
I'm joking.
I was okay with it too. Do you want water? I was talking to you, Dorothy, by the way.
Yeah, no, I'm okay, thank you.
As much as I earlier was confrontational between you and I have no doubt you're a good mother. No doubt. I can see it in your eyes.
So that was intense. We're going to try to do politics a different way because the way we're doing it in society ain't working. And let's get to know each other a little bit more deeply. You, Nico, what's beautiful in your world? What makes life worth waking up to?
My wife, my son. I could lose everything tomorrow. I'd still be blessed because I have a son and I have my wife.
When we spoke privately, you had said, God. Now it's 4 weeks later and you've got a little boy.
We spoke before I had my son. We did speak before my son was born.
Yeah, so tell me about what's beautiful in your world now.
Him waking me up every 3 hours because he needs to be fed. I see this with time that I get to spend alone with him. I'm a morning guy. I wake up at 3 o'clock no matter what. Now I get to feed him at 3 o'clock, at 3:30 in the morning alone while my wife is still sleeping.
So you really value that time you get with him.
At the newborn stage, in all honesty, not very interesting to me because I want to have a conversation with him. Right now, he's freaking useless. He's just there and I need to do everything for him.
So why do you love this experience?
He was born at 4.8 pounds, and he's not a preemie. He was like almost 39 weeks. But I spent 4 days in the ICU with him, sleeping on a very uncomfortable camping chair because I refused to be the type of parent that will leave him be alone.
Why?
And I did that so that my wife could recover because she did it no epidural, she did it no drugs, she did it naturally. 3.5 hours of pushing, not contraction. Pushing for 3.5 hours.
What do you think of that?
My wife is, hi Josie. My wife, she doesn't have a high pain for tolerance. I used to fight as an amateur, I've always competed and stuff, so I've broken so many bones, I don't even remember how many. But her, it hurts. So I've always seen her as a bit of a wimp. She's a beast. And a beast as in the pain that she's went through, my heart was breaking. I'm blessed. I have a great, great woman in my life, and all the credit to God on that one.
So it's your son and your wife, your family, that is beautiful in your world.
I'm blessed to be able to just be part of that, because I've always wanted kids.
So I want to ask you whether you have any questions for him, and it may be hard still for you to ask sincerely curious questions.
I just wonder what that was like, seeing your kid in that kind of a vulnerable place right when he comes into the world. It was hard for me because my baby was little too when he was born. Were you scared he was going to die at any point?
No,
Oh, okay.
No, I was a Buddhist for a very, very long time. So there's a good reason why half my arm is dedicated to a Buddha. I do a lot of awareness work. I'm very present. All I could do is be there for him, whatever that meant.
I'm just curious, did your and your wife's relationship change after you had a baby? Like, we were in such a blissful, like, you've just expanded how much I thought I could love you going through this with you.
I'm just happy to be a spectator of how my wife is with my son, because I get to see what I did not have growing up. And to me, motherhood is a sacred thing, is 100% sacred. As much as I believe that men are as needed as mothers, right now my son needs my wife more than he needs me. He'll need me later on. I'll always be there. I'm not saying that he doesn't need me right now and I don't want to be present.
I want to shift to what is beautiful in your world.
The most beautiful part of my life is a Saturday or Sunday morning where we go grab my son and we bring him into bed with us and we cuddle and we giggle and we make waffles together. He throws most of it on the floor.
What is beautiful about this experience to you?
I super resonate with that feeling of being present. Like, my wife and I remind each other all the time, like when we have our Saturday mornings, of like, look how lucky we are. When he's throwing half of his waffle on the floor and he just learned how to dance. Like, this is what we dreamed of when we dreamed of starting our family.
Can you identify with the mundane being the beautiful?
All I could hear is when she was talking is she's grateful and she's able to realize it in the moment, which is something that most people are never able to do. Being grateful is everything, because the next thing you know, you're old and you're gonna die. I will change a diaper full of poop and I'm just like, this moment will never come again. As much as he has poop all the way to his back, I don't know how he does it.
Sounds like you understand that.
I do. There was a moment after my son was born that I'll always treasure. We were going into the first night and he was like 6 pounds up when he was born, and he's asleep on my chest and I'm playing soft music on my phone. My wife is falling asleep on the chair next to me, and I just remember sitting there sobbing because I had this movie of what was to come was playing through my head, like sports practices and learning to walk and hearing first words and teaching them, how to read and first heartbreaks and graduate, like this
beautiful human life.
Human life. It was like a visceral feeling of, I'm so grateful. And I remember just sitting there crying.
I get it. I see it in her face. I get it.
What's beautiful in your life helps the other person understand what really moves you, what motivates you, what brings you happiness. And the other side of that is what causes pain. Can you share what your hardest experience has been?
I lost my grandfather. I was a big part of the caregiving for him in the last couple months. He was a very boisterous, loud, Italian, New York family, like very bigger than life personality. When I was little, my favorite movie was Beauty and the Beast. And he used to, the song, Tale as old as time, beauty, right?
I was brought up with a little girl, like with a sister, so I've seen that movie many times. Yeah.
So his special thing with me as my grandpa was he would hold me and we would dance to that song. And so that song to both of us hits a real deep emotional chord. He got to walk me down the aisle. We got to dance to that Beauty and the Beast song. And if you saw the pictures or the videos of that dance, both of us are just holding each other sobbing. Like, just holding each other sobbing. He was in the hospital for a long stay. And I didn't want to leave him. I would sleep with him next to his bed. And his heart went into AFib really, really suddenly. And I went from me and him alone in his hospital room to me getting pushed out and him surrounded by doctors and nurses. I was like, am I about to watch him die alone, surrounded by strangers? I kind of found his eyes in between kind of the people, and all I could do was just go, I love you, I'm here. I love you, I'm here. And him just look at me, right? We just held eye contact the whole time. Kids lose their grandparents, but this felt like I was losing a much closer core part of me. And not a lot of people understand it.
You said to me that he was your dad.
He was the father. He was he was much more like a father to me. He knew I loved him, and I knew he loved me in a really intimate, beautiful way.
Can I ask her something?
Yeah, go.
You're kind of bringing the point I was trying to make earlier. When I say father figure, it doesn't need to be a lover, it doesn't need to be directly a father, because some women do raise children without the father being there for whatever reason. But it seems to me, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but your grandfather was your father. And this was the point I was trying to make. It doesn't need to be a lover, it can be an uncle, it can be a father, it can be a cousin, it can be, in your case, a grandfather. But do you think you would be who you are today if you did not have that father figure being your grandfather?
So I'm a little bit cautious about this line of questioning at this moment. If you want to answer it, you absolutely. I want this to be, though, in this moment, apolitical. And
I get you. I did not mean to be, I'm right, you're wrong, that's not the point. I feel what you're saying. Because I wish I would have had a woman that would have kind of played the role that your grandfather played.
You'd be able to answer this without concern for it proving a point if you guys were a little bit further along in the discussion. But I'm concerned right now.
I am too, yeah.
So I'm just going to thank you for being grateful for who he was. The guy I call my father is the guy that married my mother later on in life. He died. I was in the bed next to him holding his hand when he died.
Wow.
Because that's how he meant to me. Like you, I'm grateful that I was there at the end. I'm grateful that he knows exactly what he meant to me. He knows, like, that's him. That's a caricature of my stepfather, right?
This is him, the gorilla. My grandpa.
Before cancer, because he battled cancer for 5 to 7 years, chemotherapy, radiation every month, basically. He went from 200 pounds to about 140.
Yeah.
But when he was fat and chubby, he looked exactly like Dilbert. He was a nerd. He was a massive nerd with the big glasses.
Yeah.
So, as much as earlier was confrontational between you and I have no doubt you're a good mother. No doubt. I can see it in your eyes. I have no doubt in my mind that you're a good mother. But it makes sense why you're so well adjusted. I get it. Because you had loving mothers, but you also had someone there like your grandfather, which, thank God he was there. So good for you.
That's his view, but what he's...
This is not meant as a backhanded compliment, but I'm really trying to find common ground with you. And
I know, I hear what you're saying, and I'm not going to say that my grandfather isn't a huge part of who I am, but I think my grandfather was a beautiful, glorious bonus in my upbringing. He wasn't filling a hole. He wasn't filling a lack.
So I want to ask you the same question. What has been the hardest experience in your world, in your life?
So I'm part of that 10% of people that did not vaccinate, so I lost my career. I moved to the woods. I had an investment house in the middle of nowhere, like log house, and I just lived there for 2.5 years, and a year and a half of that was by myself. And when that happened, my mom told me I deserved to lose my career because of the choices that I was making. Like, until my son was born, it had been more than 3 years since I've seen my mother. And the only reason I'm seeing my mother is because, as a Christian, I need to go over how I feel, because I don't trust my mother. I don't trust her at all. When my father left, she blamed him, and she never realized that what she did to me is no different than what he did to me when I was younger. And now she did it again, fully knowing what...
And what is it?
Leaving me. I don't know how I can explain that to you if your parents have never abandoned you. Fully knowing that my dad had did the same decades before.
And let me just add that not only had your dad done it the same decades before, but she was your tether to security. If there was a single tether to stable world, cut.
Yep. From my 14 to early 20s, I was not a good person. I was an addict. I was a thief. But I could always count on her. And that day was like, nope, it was not real. But at
and then you were standing alone.
Yeah. Literally alone in the middle of the woods. Because when you're alone, there's no hiding from yourself anymore. But there was something that I used to call intuition, which now I know is just God talking through my heart. But at the bottom of that pit is where I found that I was never alone, that I always had a father. It's just I didn't know where he was.
What is the most profoundly positive experience that you've ever had, which is different than what's beautiful in your world?
Mm-hmm. I have an answer in my
So
head, unless you...
if you have an answer, I'm a gentleman, so I tend to let you, if you want to go for it.
When I
just want to point out that was triggering for her, you saying that you're a gentleman.
In the same way as I will still open doors for people.
You meant to be kind right there.
I try to be.
And reading your face, I would say that it was interpreted differently.
Yeah, look, I'm a gentleman. There's this point that you're trying to prove
that's the way you interpreted it.
That's the way I feel it.
I try to be good. I try. I often make mistakes, but hey.
I believe that you try to be good. I can see your heart. It's the willingness to see from my eyes. Men look at me and go, you need a man in your life. You're not really queer. You just haven't met the right man.
So it struck you as a lack of respect?
A lack of willingness to, again, sit here.
So it struck you as a lack of care. You know, I've been mediating for 25 years. What one person intends and what another person receives are two different things. They seem to be the same thing, but they're not. And he was possibly, maybe even probably, expressing care, and you interpreted it as a lack of care. The other piece that I want to mention is that when somebody is our enemy, meaning they're a threat to us, we almost can never see their true intention. The part of the brain that processes empathy shuts down when we're under threat, and so we can't feel what it is that they intended. So I believe, misinterpreted his intention.
Totally. I love that your instinct is to let me go first, that your instinct is to make sure I'm comfortable.
I'd like to leave it there for now and just point out that there was a misunderstanding that happens all the time. What is the best thing that's happened in your life?
I was terrified of birth. I didn't think I could do it. My wife is here, you know, with me, encouraging me, and then I have either mom on either side of me, holding my legs, telling me I can do it, helping me bring my kid into the world.
You described the three of them being there and what the external environment was like, but what was the feeling like inside of you?
There have been a couple moments in my life where I felt so loved. It's like you're floating outside of yourself and like looking down at yourself. It was like the collective love that the three of them had around me was like a tangible thing. There's no other words besides
it's called
just
transcendence.
Yes.
That's what it's called.
Literally feel like I was lifting out of my body, because it did feel like I was transcendent. Like if there is a God, God was there, and that was the essence of it. Like just pure love in that moment, and it just unreal.
It's called God.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Same question for you. Most powerful experience of your life?
I don't know if I'm okay with what I'm going to say, because I should be saying that it was my son being born. And if it wasn't for an experience that I had in church last year where I felt God was, and it had nothing to do with the sermon. I wasn't even paying attention to what they were saying. I was bored out of my mind. But I was just meditating. I felt God touch my shoulder and say, hey, I've always been your father. So that then and there, I broke in tears. That moment made it possible for me to know that I'm enough to be the father my son needs.
And that would be profound for any person.
Yeah.
But especially, it seems to me, for a person who thought he was alone.
I'm still a boy. As much as I don't look like one, deep down we're all boys. We're all little girls.
For most people, almost everybody who's been in here, their most profound negative experience or the hardest experience is the reciprocal of their most profound positive experience.
Of course, 100%.
And yours is about abandonment and having someone, God, who's always been with you. And you also mentioned to me when we spoke that your wife represents that to you.
She's known me when I lost everything. And when I say everything, I've lost everything.
Yeah.
In the past year and a half, I completely lost everything. She stuck by me when all we could eat were rice and beans. I will trust her blindly for the rest of my life.
Is it anytime you talk about your wife or your son, the emotion and your love for them, like I can see it clear as day in your eyes?
But yeah, they mean everything to me. The rest is so irrelevant.
Can I ask you a question? I agree that my son needs role models of good, caring, empathetic men. That young girls need role models of good, caring, empathetic women.
I guess we're done. I can go now.
I know, but,
on
but like, just stay with me for a second. I don't think that means me and my wife are unqualified to be his parent. That queer people shouldn't have children if they are committed to raising a well-adjusted, empathetic, kind human. They're gonna make sure that there are role models of every walk of life in their life.
You're not most parents. I have to stop you here because I
know,
don't
but that doesn't, but I want to be careful because that doesn't have anything to do with queer parents, non-queer. We're talking about just good parenting, period, not gender.
Forget the queer part. Let's put the queer part aside for a second. There are circumstances in which a father might not be present, whatever the reason, and there's circumstances where the mother's not going to be present for whatever reason. But it is known that you need the opposite to be there too. The father, the mother, but it doesn't need to be a father or a mother.
Yes.
It could be a grandfather, it could be an uncle, it could be a cousin,
friend.
But it needs to be conscious.
Yes.
My mom did not do that.
Right.
My mom did not see that void, did not try to fill it.
And you saw the difference when your stepfather played that role and that you've played that role for young men.
Can two gay individuals raise children? Sure, I guess they can. You sound to me like you're proof that it can work, but you can't do it alone. I've known this for the past 2 hours, that we were a lot closer than.
Yes, I am going to make sure my son has good examples of good men in the world in his life.
We agree?
Yes. But the disconnect is you still think me and my wife shouldn't have kids. Good parenting means surrounding your kid with a community of role models.
We have the tendency of surrounding ourselves with people that are like ourselves, right?
You both agree that parenting requires support from outside people and from community.
Yes, but in a perfect case where it's a mother and a father, it's not as necessary. Point I'm trying
Parenting
to make
involves
from the
giving
get-go.
children what they need. You both agree on that.
100%.
And where you may disagree is that he is saying it's not just a supportive community. Someone playing a role, a mentoring role for children who's a man. And that doesn't just come from a community. It comes from what he's calling a father figure. And his experience is that, correct or not factually, that gay people or women, I'm going to speak.
Jesus.
Oh, nice.
Whew.
You have a ladder? It's right there.
That's.
It's your power cable that.
Yeah, no, I know. We don't have the light, but I'm just going to finish this segment. I think you may just be disagreeing to some extent on the magnitude of that role.
I agree with what he's saying.
Yes, I do too.
What his experience has shown is that women who have children believe they don't need a man in their life. That is what he believes. That is what he believes. Okay,
That's
and
what my experience can show you.
And it's been his experience in other ways as well, which we're going to get into, that people believe men are not needed.
I think where we disagree is to the use magnitude, and I like that word, is to the magnitude in which it's important. I'll give you credit for understanding that your brothers need to get involved and be present. Where you and I disagree is on the importance that they can play. I believe that that man needs to be there, present every day, just like you are as a mother.
But it is interesting that you're largely in agreement. It seemed like black and white at the beginning.
I'm very surprised
and now
that
we're
we're
talking,
at least agreeing
and
on
now we're
that.
talking about.
I'm happily, let me rephrase that, I'm happily surprised.
And now we're
that
talking
we can't
about
even get to
a
that.
degree of difference. So I need to put the lights back on.
Yep.
And we need to not continue talking.
No, you guys can chat while I'm doing this.
You're very enlightened in the way that you see what your son needs. And the fact that you're ready to give it to him is, I don't know if refreshing is not strong enough of a word, but I'm very happy to hear that for your son's sake, that you can at least understand those things, because most people don't.
Do you still look at me and say me and my wife should not be parents?
The average woman out there does not want to recognize the simple fact that men are needed.
But answer me, knowing me and me.
No, but I did not know who you were, so my judgments were
But
predicated
isn't that what
on.
this conversation is to
But
connect
that's
on a human?
but that's the evolution of our conversation. That what I have said as harsh words that I said at the beginning.
Yeah.
If I was right now.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have had that same type of conversation with you.
Right.
If I would have known the type of mother that you are. My whole opinion is, why start from a place of lack when you could start from a place where both parties are already involved?
Because there are queer people in the world. Like, we've always been here and we're not going away, so you just think queer people should not have children. Even though I am an example of a queer person that recognizes what my son needs.
I want to be careful in this conversation. I mean, you guys are doing an amazing job without me.
Yeah, but I think we're at a point where we could actually have a beer or a drink and actually have a conversation that would be...
and what am I going to do? No,
Sorry, we're not going to be on your time anymore, man.
Okay.
This show is not about finding solutions,
Right,
though it sounds like you guys are like, oh, we're almost at a solution. What it's about is you seeing each other as human beings, and us demonstrating that actually then a conversation can occur.
Right.
Which is, you're demonstrating this
Right.
100%. I want to ask one more question in the who are you phase. If you could offer one thing to the world, one piece of wisdom to the world, and they'd listen, what would you share?
I think you should start.
The number one regret of the dying is to have lived the life others expected of them. The most important piece of wisdom I can give people is to live the life you want to live and not the life that others expect of you. You need to be ready to take the heat, you need to be ready to take the beatings, because people will disagree with you. So in order to do that, you need to be confident, you need to have courage. God has made me to be able to handle the hate that I get every day.
And you do it because you care about
I do
children.
it for your son, I do it for mine, I do it for all the boys that might grow up the way I grew up.
Whether he's right or wrong, gay families can't do it without a father. I want you to hear where it's coming from. I want to see if you resonate with that message. Living your life is important.
Oh, of course. As a queer woman, that is deeply, deeply resonating for any person who lives on the margins, any person who isn't traditional or majority or
And that is you as well.
That is, thank you for saying that, because I don't fit in the way that men are portrayed, because I'm hated by men as much as women.
Just like you get hate, when I find my authentic self as a queer woman and then I go out into the world, I get told, you're not living the way God wants you to live. You shouldn't have kids.
So I don't want to resolve this. I just wanted to point out that you resonate with the message in a different way.
Of course I do.
I want to ask you, what wisdom would you share?
We have to lead with our hearts. The decisions we make have to be from our hearts.
What does that mean, lead with your heart? Someone who hates Jews because they believe Jews have created terrible things in their world or in the world is leading with their heart, right?
Whew. Yeah. I think starting from a place of love, that is the quickest way to get rid of fear of each other. Or if all of us just...
So basically seeing the hopes and pains of the person
Yeah, seeing
across from you?
someone's heart, what makes someone's heart, that transcendent feeling of love that I felt when my kid was born. Like, starting from that place.
Can
with
you start
people.
from that place with a stranger?
I think you need to start from a place of wanting to understand.
Solving our problems in society, building a truer, more beautiful world to pass on to next generations. And we can't if we don't see each other as two hearts that have pain and experiences.
So I'm going to
and
translate
love.
the word hearts because some people may find that amorphous or triggering.
Okay,
and,
please.
and others
Yes.
may not. But
Yeah.
what I'm hearing is a curiosity about their deepest hopes and their deepest fears leads to understanding, cooperation, and a more positive world.
Thank you for translating that.
He invites conversations. Eh?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if people did this willingly?
I fully see the necessity in it, the journey that we're trying to take together.
As much as I can disagree in the way that you live your life, if you needed help, I'd be the first one to help. The least that I can do, at least try to do to others, is be kind. This is something I pray to God every day to make me more compassionate, especially when it comes to my son.
So we started with conflict because I wanted to demonstrate that it doesn't work. He was also on Jubilee. And I also want to contrast.
I don't know what Jubilee is.
Have you ever seen the 1 versus 30? Like you'll
Oh,
have,
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Jubilee.
Okay,
meeting.
they just
So
had
I
one
went on
with,
one of their feminists versus
Right.
men rights activists.
Okay.
And I was part of the men's activists. but
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he was on Jubilee.
They won the conflict because it's clickbaity, it sells, it puts views on your content, but it doesn't solve issues.
It's meant to promote rage and vitriol. I wanted to demonstrate basically what didn't work and
Right.
then have you get to know each other. And now I want to integrate your politics into this understanding of each other, which you guys have already done to a large extent. You haven't left that out. But I have a question for each of you. What does the other person not understand that you wish they did?
You and I seem to agree on the fundamental view that men are needed in a child's life, no matter if they're little girls or little boys. Where we disagree is to which extent. Is by proxy enough, meaning in your example, your grandfather, in your boy's example, your two brothers, is that enough? Or where I come from is he needs to be in the house. So
I'd
what I
like you to
see-
reflect that back to him,
Okay.
and particularly about what his motivation is. What is he trying to achieve with male
Right.
presence?
Right. The most important thing is having both a female and a male presence.
Yes, 100%. I want them to have the best chance possible from the get-go.
Are
The
you
woman
saying it's
present.
impossible if both are not in the house daily, or that it's just less, you're giving the kid less of a chance?
It's always a matter of most opportunities, right? Nothing's black and white in life, really, if you really look at it.
It can be done, but in your perspective, the odds are not in your favor. Am I understanding you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could give
Okay.
you a high five right now. See? High five.
Well, this doesn't mean I agree, but I understand you. I understand you.
No.
What do you believe that he's not understanding or his side's not understanding?
Queer people have to make a conscious decision to have a kid, right? Me and my wife can't accidentally get pregnant. You know what I mean? And I think inherently, those are the people you want to be parents. Not queer people necessarily, but the people who are deciding, I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life to the well-being of a kid.
So the intention,
The intention,
of wanting a child because you can't have them naturally proves that you're ready or you're going to go the extra mile.
Right.
I see your point. Again, it's not about agreement.
One more opportunity to have the other side hear you on a point that you're not confident they understand.
People who can and want to be parents and want to be good parents are losing the opportunity to do so. Imagine having your kid taken away from you.
Are
Kids
you talking
are
about
losing.
the parents' well-being also?
I'm talking about the kids.
Children are taken away from gay people. You see that as causing massive suffering on the part of children.
Of course.
Like the abandonment issues that he experienced would be amplified tremendously.
Oh, absolutely.
And I never heard you advocate for that. I didn't.
Nor
but I-
will you.
But I want to. Okay. So I want you to still reflect back, because she has a concern of that happening in society.
You're fully knowing that I will understand the word abandoned. You know I would understand at least that what that word means to
Yeah.
a young individual.
Is he understanding you in the way
Yeah.
you'd like to be?
Yeah. You're not advocating for children to be taken away from queer parents. But what I'm saying is that these ideas that you are perpetuating in society is used as justification for that.
I get that my opposite view could be used in order to create laws that would take those children away from, I want to say people like you, but queers, homosexuals.
So I want to give you another opportunity. You have faced a lot of criticism.
Sure.
You've had people time and again not understand you.
Mm-hmm.
This is different. You're going to walk away understood by the person sitting next to you, and you're going to be understood by many members of the audience, not everybody, but many who would have previously thought of you as a pretty evil guy.
Sure. I can
So
see
I
that.
want you to avail yourself of that opportunity.
It's so simple. Fathers are as important as mothers are. Not better, but just as important. It's not just gay people, because
So
that's a problem I
so
see
you-
with women in general. It's not even, and even men. We have this weird understanding or weird belief that fathers are not as important as mothers.
I hear you want the other side to understand that father's role is exceptionally important, critical for children's well-being. But there's another piece here that I believe is motivating you as well. You're also concerned about the young men and fathers who are told you're not important. You're concerned about them as well. That's not why you're here in this particular case. It is that. So it's both.
It is them more than anything else.
Tell us about that.
How many boys are being told by society that they're toxic, that their behaviors are toxic? Can you imagine growing up not only feeling needed, but being told time and time again that your urges, the way that you are, your instincts are wrong, and you need to be more like a girl? They're so much better at sitting still and listening to somebody. That's a skill that most girls have, that most boys don't have, because of the testosterone that runs through our body. We need to wrestle each other. We need to be in direct contact to push those boundaries, to be physical with each other. Yet today is seen as a bad thing. By not acknowledging that fathers are as important as mothers, we're telling boys then they're not needed. That their basic instincts of wanting to protect, wanting to provide, wanting to lead, wanting to roughhouse, as we call it, wanting to be physical with one another, is wrong. That man cannot teach his son what it is to become a man. Then society as a whole tells that same son that doesn't have a father figure that they're relevant, they're not needed, and the only importance that they have is if they emulate feminine energy, if they behave the same way as little girls. Because if they don't, we'll put you on Ritalin, we'll stuff you full of drugs so that you behave.
What's the problem with that? So you put these kids on Ritalin.
How many times have I been told that I was toxic, that my masculinity, the fact that I want to be a protector, that I will die for my family. Yet men die every day protecting others.
And you're driven to that.
Of course I am. This is instinctual.
So whether or not you believe that that is true, and I want you to separate out your beliefs from his, he believes that boys, men, most of them at least, are born a certain way, and they're told that that way is bad or wrong.
Yeah, I'm fully hearing you. Men and boys deserve to feel valuable, needed, and purposeful. You're seeing right now, men are getting the message, you're not needed, you don't have a purpose. Of course I can see that
And your way of being
is wrong.
Is wrong.
Right.
Like, not just we don't need you, but you're a problem.
You're a
No,
problem.
you're the
Yeah.
problem. You know, I used to record content with my wife, and people would come and show up and ask her if she was okay, blink if you need help. We stopped recording because of my wife is so frustrated by the way people treat me online, because she knows my heart, she knows who I am, she knows that this is not easy. You think it's easy to get attacked by thousands of people every day?
If I can translate it for people who have a hard time hearing that,
Yeah.
is that the well-being of children and young men matters so much to you that you're willing to pay the price, and it's a steep price that you've paid.
Imagine every single time I open my phone, I know that if I click on Instagram, it's full of hate. People are going to be insulting me. I might have death threat. But how many times do I get messages from mostly women for saying thank you for doing what you're doing because my son need a guy like you?
This is something I completely empathize with. We were talking about living our authentic selves and living our purpose no matter the cost. People don't think queer and trans people deserve to live a purposeful, happy life because we're getting, you don't deserve to be here. And a lot of people like me fully get that feeling.
So two things can happen here. One is he can receive that as understanding. Another is he can see as diminishing his point.
Yeah.
And it takes the energy away from his point to some extent.
No,
I think it's both. You're diminishing what I'm saying, yet trying to relate it to what
She's
you
trying
understand.
to relate it, yes.
But the way you're explaining it is in terms you understand based on your life experience, which is not the same as me. But I can
but also just the words you're saying, I'm fully hearing.
Yeah.
And you're saying it's not relevant.
Just to be clear, I'm not saying it's not relevant. I'm saying that when trying to demonstrate understanding, people sometimes say, I get it. You know what I've been through.
Yeah.
And that can cut either way.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't.
At least I see that she's trying.
Yeah. The other commonality that I saw there is that you're both sacrificing for a community. You deeply care for young men. You know what their pain is. You love them, and you've got the same experience with a different community. You've seen their pain, you've felt it, you feel for them, and you're willing to sacrifice. And so you can both kind of understand what the other
Yes.
person is up to.
Oh, absolutely.
We can find common ground. Can gay people, gay parents, raise children as well as heterosexual couples? Because at the end of the day, that's what we disagree.
If I can show you the research and you do your own background, find it credible,
Yeah.
would you be willing to change your messaging for people losing the right to
I'd like
adopt?
to say something.
Yeah.
That you're entering a conversation from my perspective,
Yeah.
which is traditional, which is trying to change somebody's mind. The best place you can end up with a person is that you dial down their dislike for you and your side from a 10 to a 5, because then in the future, they're open. But to get them to a place where they're capitulating to your
Yeah.
policies will reverse the 10
Right.
to a 5 back to an 8.
You're right.
As you said, you're never going to change my mind unless I change my mind. The only way I change my mind is by facts.
Nico, if that is true, you are extremely unusual, because generally people reject the facts
That
of
don't
the
fit.
other side until they believe that the other side is truly interested in them and cares about them. Otherwise, it's a threat, it's an argument, it's a weapon.
Yeah.
My recommendation with regard to facts is present them after you're connected,
Yeah.
where you trust the person,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
back away if the other person is resisting.
You can present me with all the facts in the world. I'll sit down when everybody's sleeping like I do every morning. I'll have my coffee and I'll just research.
That's really powerful. If that's real and you're true to that, like that could be a really powerful thing for me personally.
But he might not agree. He might not change his mind. And I would say be entirely open to that. The two of you actually probably can work together, but not if you push it.
I'm getting emotional because as someone who has been deeply hurt by men like you, to feel myself start to be okay to let my guard down is a big deal.
So where I'd like to go now is to take your understanding of the other person deeper. I call this portion identity confusion. We all basically have the same machinery inside of us, the same motivations, same goals. Not external goals, internal goals. We're all hoping for the same internal experiences. What we do is different. Why we do it is exactly the same. So we can enter someone else's experience pretty easily. All we need is a little help, which is their beliefs and their background. If we understand their background and we get into that role a little bit, we can be them, and be them in a way that is actually confusing. You had said earlier, I can't be you because I'm not a gay woman. I don't know what it is to be a gay woman. True, but you have the same desires in your life as a gay woman.
I do. No, but hold on.
That is about to be clipped out and taken out of
But
context.
I would say that I do love women, so at least we have something in common. So there you go, I guess. Yep, we agree. I think women are pretty hot. I agree.
That's funny.
Agreed.
So you, well, that might actually stay in because you laughed,
especially
which meant that it wasn't too offensive.
Oh, that's just funny.
Oh, it's just funny. Yeah.
So what I'd like you to do is switch seats. You are Nico. You are a male rights activist. You understand his background, and you're going to be speaking on his behalf. And you are Dorothy.
I just saw myself in a wig.
We can experiment with drag later if you're open to it.
So you are Dorothy. You have a child whose well-being you're deeply concerned about. Who is willing to speak first?
I'm okay with going first.
What does Nico not understand?
That I understand that men are important, that a masculine man is important, and that I understand that so much that I will make sure that people like my brothers are going to play that role for my son.
So what I'm hearing in this, the reason you're expressing that, is that you want Nico to believe, I'll take good care of this kid. So that Nico doesn't
take it away from me?
Take him away from me, basically. And he would experience incredible feelings of abandonment.
And even further, I think I want you to understand that he's so much better with me and my wife than he would be alone, without parents. Because if the state was to take it away from me, not only would he be abandoned and might think that I didn't want him anymore.
Yeah, so he would suffer tremendously.
I'm hearing it's important for you to make sure that I know that you understand the importance for your son having good male role models, having good male influence in their life. Me not knowing you understand that means that someone could see you as unfit to parent. This is is hard.
The confusion that you're experiencing now is actually good because it means that you're going to get jogged out of being you.
You're going to do what is necessary to make sure your kid has role models in his life to have a purposeful, fulfilling life.
Not only that, but that I can do it, that my wife and I can do it as well as a heterosexual couple.
It's important for me to understand because this kid is better off with us, with you as his parents, than being parentless, period.
In a foster system.
In a foster system.
And
that I can also do as good job as you can.
And that you can do as good a job as I can, raising
that
this
I'm
kid.
as good as a parent, or my partner and I are as good as parents as your wife and you.
Right.
The point that was implicit is that you believe that your son is loved and that love is what's critical to a child's well-being.
No matter if it comes from two women or a traditional couple. Remove all the crap, remove all the fluff, that's what it comes down to.
Because you love your kid, that inherently means you're going to do what your kid needs.
Love is enough.
That love is enough to ensure that my kid is going to have.
Love is enough.
Yeah.
No matter what.
She's not just saying that love will motivate her to do what's necessary.
The love itself.
The love itself. Is he getting it at the depth with which you feel it?
I think he understands. Who doesn't understand the love for their children?
Thank you. We're going to flip.
Yeah, I need you to understand that it is critical that a child has a consistent, everyday experience from a mother and a father.
Why is that important?
As a man, I'm the only one that can teach my son how to be a man. My wife is the only one that can be a mother to my son.
You're saying the father and the mother are not the same. They don't play the same role. They won't even interact with their child or their son the same way. So both are needed.
Is she understanding you, and in particular, at the depth of importance with which you feel it?
No, because if my son lacks me as his father, a fatherly presence, the cycle of not feeling important or valuable is going to keep going. It's never going to end.
What do you mean? Explain that.
I know how it felt to not have a father there, what I had to seek out to learn in other places, and how that affected how I thought about myself. He's not going to have had the role model. He's not going to have had a father to teach him how to be a man of purpose and truth and dignity and self-worth. He has to learn that in order for him to pass that on to his kids. And if I'm not here to teach him that, how will he learn that? The cycle that I experienced from not having a father is going to continue.
So I've heard two things. One is his concern about his son suffering now without a father, because only a father, in his view, can offer a certain type of influence now, plays with him a certain way, is a certain way with him. And then also is the implicit message. Children don't need fathers. And that's a message that's in society that he might be hearing anyway, about the lack of value.
We don't need boys. We don't need men. Everyone deserves to live a purposeful life. My son deserves to live a life like that.
And it sounds like, from your perspective, that purpose is to some extent inborn. Like, it is unalterable. And if you don't fulfill it, you're empty.
In just a mathematical way, a mother and a father equally give something different, something necessary for a kid's well-being. And if one or the other are missing, the kid has less of a chance of living a fulfilling, purposeful life.
If I could describe your views in one sentence, is to say that fathers and mothers are equally needed.
It needs to be clear that the stakes are much higher than what maybe you're communicating back to me. How can you live a fulfilling life if you don't know and can live your purpose? Kids are going to suffer, and they're going to grow to be adults that suffer.
So I want to step out of the role again and give you a chance to correct it, because I can see that you're operating as Nico over there, evaluating whether she's getting it properly, because she wants to get it exactly right.
I think what you don't understand is the purpose of a man is to serve others. Purpose is never about self. You know, most men are just meant to be fathers. They're just meant to be the leaders of their family and just be there to take the hit.
I want to have Dorothy get enough to basically express some of this. And if you feel like you have enough, then do it. If you don't, ask him some questions to clarify.
I like that. That's good.
My purpose, a man's purpose, is to give, and that is multifaceted, to my family, protection, also to boys like my son, help them find the same sense of purpose, which is to give to their family and in extension their communities. So they know that they are important, they are vital, they are needed in society, in families, in children's lives, in order for society to function.
You believe that without purpose, a man's life is meaningless.
Yeah.
Fathers are the only one that can teach their son purpose.
Yes. And that gives their life meaning.
Purpose gives.
Yeah.
Purpose is the meaning.
Obviously, because you're willing to go through a lot of shit to make
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah.
A lot of hate. Does Dorothy really understand how deeply important that is to you? Kids' well-being.
I'm trying to find a stronger word. You're taking away someone's meaning of living.
I think I said it earlier.
When a person repeats themselves, it's that they don't believe you've gotten it fully, or to the depth that
The
they
gravity
feel
of it. What's at stake?
What you're saying is without purpose, a man's life is meaningless.
And the consequences of a man's life being meaningless is so grave.
Okay, I want to turn back to you, Dorothy. This is your chance to be heard. You go through a lot of your life believing that people on the other side don't understand you.
I want you to know that, like you, I've experienced hate from my own family, hate from the people out there that don't believe that I should be married, I don't believe that I should have kids. Not only that, I will always make sure that my son comes first and that he is fulfilled, that his needs are met, whatever that means.
Just like me, you understand what it's like to be misunderstood, to be hated, to be attacked.
Is he getting that?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
he getting it with the depth where you've suffered actually through that judgment? Does he understand that?
I believe he does.
Why do you believe he does?
In our own ways, we have felt what it is to be different, to be perceived as different, to be judged for what we are. Somebody that's been hurt can understand somebody else that's been hurt.
Okay. And the second point was what?
You are committed to putting your son first and getting him what he needs, no matter what.
Accurate?
Yeah.
So there's accuracy and then there's depth.
Accuracy. I don't think he understands to which those are not just words, those are what I base my life on. My beliefs that comes from the hurt and the joy that I've experienced.
What you've been through, both deeply painful and deeply joyful, informs who you are and how you're going to raise your kid. Just like what I have been through, deeply painful, deeply joyful, that has molded me into the parent I'm going to be for my kid.
He's getting it.
It's about time. I'm just kidding. Damn man.
Okay, so I want to ask you, is there anything more?
My intentions, clear and simple, point blank, is the well-being of my kid and kids and sons and daughters like him. There is no hidden,
So it sounds like you're sick of being misunderstood.
there's no hidden agenda.
And you were doing this before you had a kid.
Right, because it's not just about my kid. I have a kid now, so my priority is my kid, but it's never just been about my kid. It's been about all the sons, all the daughters. And because I've experienced firsthand what it is like to lose that, to have that taken away from me.
And what has that created in you?
A deep compassion for young kids, specifically young men, who are often misunderstood.
No matter what people think or people say, you're still going to be doing what you're doing. Being hated will never take you away from what you do every day.
And why does he care so much?
Because it's not about him.
Why does he care about those kids, that experience? He could have cared about kids in Somalia. He could have cared about water issues.
He didn't grow up lacking water. He didn't grow up in Somalia. He grew up right here in North America without a father present to teach him what it is to be a man. And he wants to make sure that young boys don't have to go through that lack and feel unwanted, feel that their instincts are wrong.
Is she understanding you?
Yeah, I think it's evident she understands what it's like to live the life you're supposed to live, regardless of what people think about it. Because she's experienced that.
All right, let's switch back.
I get to be me again.
You do. You do. You stepped into each other's shoes for a moment, and I'd like to know two things. One, what was it like trying to experience the world through the other person's eyes? And secondly, what was it like seeing them play you?
It was incredibly powerful to hear you try to communicate as me. Most people don't try to do that on any issue. No one from the other side takes the time to think about what it's like to move through the world queer. It is an act of love to really, truly try to think and experience something through the eyes of someone else, I think is a really radical act of love.
So that was a gift in some way.
Yeah, yeah.
And let me ask you what it was like to play Nico.
Can I ask her something?
Sure.
Don? Imagine how I pissed you off when we first started
Yeah.
talking and when what you just said there.
Yeah.
That's what I think is beautiful in what she said, because earlier she wanted to fucking kill me.
What you were saying just represented so much of
Threat.
what I've heard.
And threat to you.
And threat to me.
And the fact that I'm right there looking at you too, it wasn't through a screen either.
Yeah.
So that juxtaposition, that flip.
And then to feel that act of, I really do think radical is the right word, because we still do not agree on specific parts of what we're talking about. But this act of, I'm going to try to understand, I'm going to ask follow-up questions.
Listen.
Actively listen. It is a radical act of love.
And what was it like to play Nico?
It adds a level of empathy. When I know that your why isn't malicious, when I know that it really is about the well-being of young boys, which I care about too. I have a son.
And let me ask you this, understanding his motivation as you do now, at not just an intellectual level, but at a deeper level, like you felt it.
Oh yeah.
Do you see him as less of a threat?
Yes, you are not a threat to my family and families like me, really. We've talked about that. Those differences have big stakes in my life and families' lives like mine. But because I feel safe enough and understood enough to continue the conversation, I think is monumental.
Okay, same questions for you. What was it like to play Dorothy? What was it like to watch her play you?
Before I answer that question, I was happy to see you agree with the way I depicted you. Because I could see those eyes you just did right there.
So that was meaningful to you to know you were understanding her.
More than that, that it was possible for a guy like me that felt her, that I'll use her word, threatened. Because the beginning of our conversation was not pleasant for her.
Be
A
seen-
threat
To
understands
seen
her.
as not a threatening person, but as a person who is trying to understand and who can communicate, that's meaningful to you.
This is what I liked about this conversation, is that she realizes, or you realize, that I was listening to you. Because too often...
I think that's what it is. As
Yeah.
you were speaking, I'm
Yeah.
going, oh my God, he heard me.
Yeah, I wasn't just waiting for my time to say something.
Right.
Like most conversations have become today. Although guys like me shouldn't be listening to you, especially not the way I treated you at the beginning. This is what I found very, very interesting. And I'll have to reflect more on what it means later.
To be understood by someone you don't agree with, to be actually understood, is a really profound experience.
When we're understood, the threat level diminishes tremendously, because if a person can understand my pain and my experience, they're not so bad. Most of us receive understanding as love.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. I enjoyed trying to see you explain me. Because I think she, as much as I don't think she get it, she understands me to the depth of what it is really me. The fact that she tried can further that conversation.
I should distinguish or modify my statement. It's not that understanding is a form of love, it's that trying to
Yes.
understand.
100%.
So here you are,
Yeah.
we're getting close to concluding. What do you think of the other person?
I think you're a great mother. No matter if I don't agree with your lifestyle, I can't take away the fact that you seem to want what's right for your son. I see the role that you're playing as a mother as something that is a God, that is a gift from God, that is divine.
And what do you think of her as a person?
Actually, I can see some great things in her. I'd be curious to have a further conversation where you're not there to referee, just to have a drink. All we talked about is what's best for our son. There's probably a lot more to you than just that.
Yeah.
Do you have red shoes at home?
And what do you think of him?
I think you have a big heart and good intentions, and I think you're kind. And I'm getting emotional because as someone who has been deeply hurt by men like you, to feel myself start to be okay to let my guard down is a big deal. Like, I am very much protective of myself around men like you. Whew, to be able to be vulnerable and honest and real with you, that's just a really powerful thing for me.
So you two have been through an experience that I would consider profound. I think people who are going to watch it will consider it profound. But one of the foreseeable consequences, particularly people on the left, are going to view you very negatively. They won't even watch the whole episode. There are going to be negative comments about you as well, just not as many.
Sure.
This has been my experience, okay? And I am asking you, as a public service, to speak to people who believe they're on your side and tell them what is the correct way to watch this and to have discourse about it.
I'm just asking people to put down their initial to defend me and defend queer and non-traditional families and just listen and try to hear.
And let me take it a little bit further. How will you feel if you see a third of the comments just rip him a new one?
I didn't come here to take someone down in the name of the gays. You know, I came here to listen to a human being's life experience and try to relate to them.
Can I ask you a question? I guarantee you that it's going to be a 70% people are going to hate me. This is what I normally get. Would you ever defend me?
After this conversation, yes.
Because that speaks volumes.
There is a difference between
Defending
I'm not
your
saying-
I
position.
will defend your character.
Not because you agree with me,
Right.
but because you can see that it comes from the right place and you have somewhat of an understanding that I mean well.
I mean, I know exactly what I would say. You don't know this person's story. If you are going to come in here and show hate in any way, you are actively perpetuating the hate that our community faces on a daily basis that we are trying to eradicate. As people who get the stones thrown at us, do not become in turn the stone throwers.
What do you say to the people who view you as on their side and who are going to want to take her down?
It serves zero purpose. You're not being productive if you can't even listen.
I'd like you to contrast this with the typical interaction that we see politically and even more on the internet.
We are starting out at a point with zero intention of actually listening. How can we debunk what they're saying? How can we make them look like an idiot? How can we win the debate? How can we yell louder than them?
If you throw stones, if you show the other side that you hate them, guess what you get back?
Hate.
What you guys did took enormous effort, and I would say enormous courage. I consider you two peacemakers. You're what enables me to help further this mission. So I give you guys a ton of credit, and I say thank you. Nico, men's rights activist. I'm glad you were born. I'm glad I found my way to you. And Dorothy, co-mom and gay persons activist, LGBT activist. I'm glad you were born. I'm glad I found my way to you. So thank you both. And we are done.
There we go. Why the hell are you looking at me with a
I'm
smile
not looking
like
at
that?
you.
It's good stuff.
I need a drink.
Who do gay women dislike most? Toxic men, the Nicos of the world. And who do traditional family purists dislike most? Progressives, feminists, gay men and women who selfishly raise kids. But really, the accurate word isn't dislike. It's hate. That's our present society. Hatred of those we don't know, fed by mindless algorithms that make a few people a lot of money. Hatred so deep, our world is cracking. What if no one here is evil? What if everyone here is trying to do good? Imagine if we saw the other side as they really are.